Huh? Ah. Ah. Welcome to Iwana.
Hey Sparks. So here I am in my classroom again, and this time it's because my daughter had a dentist appointment. And there's a pandemic, so I just had to drop her off and not go in with her. So I came back to school and I'm making a video instead. It is nice to be here with you guys. I hope that you all had a good week. And I hope that you're staying safe and that you're staying warm and that you are doing a good job of being an awesome member of your family and an awesome child of God. That's your responsibility and your privilege. So, speaking of God, do you guys know who wrote the Bible? Yeah, God did. He did not take his hand and take a pen or a marker and actually write the words, but the words are his. Um, it took lots of different people over 1,500 years to write down the words that God wanted us to know, the words that became what we know of as the Bible. The Bible writers wrote about some things that hadn't happened yet back in those days when they wrote the Bible. Now that is 2021, some of those things have already happened. Some of those things have not happened yet. Some of them are going to happen in the future. When someone writes down or tells us what's going to happen in the future, we call those words a prophecy. It's a pretty big word. Can you guys say that? Prophecy. Prophecy. And when somebody is doing that, when somebody is speaking or writing, we say that they are prophesying. And that is something that God used back in those days to let the world know what was happening or what was going to happen. Not so much anymore. Now, if we want to know what's happening or what is going to happen, we can read the Bible. God wanted people to be ready for the future. That doesn't mean that God let the people know every minute of every day what was going to be happening. Instead, he just wanted them to be prepared for some of the things. He did tell the people and us through the scriptures some of the things that were going to happen and that are going to happen. So, when people prophesied because God told them what was going to happen, or God let them know what was going to happen, did all of those things come true or will they? Yes, every single one of them. God is always right. He was always right for all the things that have already happened. He was exactly right. Just they happened just the way that he said they would. God sometimes used people to tell others the news about the future. A person who God used to tell about the future was called a prophet. Say that word, prophet. That's a word for somebody who was able to talk about the future. A prophet is somebody who prophesies or tells the future. A prophet is someone who tells what God says about the future. They're not just making it up. So, any of you guys a prophet? Any of your brothers or sisters or moms or dads prophets? Do you know for sure what's going to happen in the future? No. A lot of times you can make a good guess. You can go with what probably happens, like tomorrow. Looking out the window here. Tomorrow is probably going to be cold, but not necessarily. Something amazing could happen. Going with probability, it's going to be cold. Another thing that we can talk about, it's not really a prophecy, is cause and effect. So if you have a spelling test on Friday and you don't study for it at all, I could say, you know what? I'm not going to do very good on this test. That doesn't mean I'm telling the future. It doesn't mean I'm making a prophecy. It just means that because you didn't study, you probably won't do very well. Is that a guarantee? No. But is it a prophecy? No, it's not a prophecy. It's either knowing what will probably happen because of what usually happens, or it's thinking about a cause and thinking about what the effect will be. Well, anyways, we are not prophets. In fact, I want you guys to think right now. I want you to try to make a prophecy. You could just think about what I will probably do. But I want you to tell somebody in the room with you what you think I'm going to do next. Make a prophecy. All right. Okay, did you tell somebody? All right. What did you tell them? Did you tell them that I was going to do this? Probably not. There was no way to predict that. There was no way for you to have an idea that I was going to go crazy. And if you did, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so let's see. So probably we don't have any prophets. Probably none of you told the person in the room with you that your teacher was going to go crazy. Because that is a very unexpected thing. If none of you were right, if none of you were even close, that's pretty reasonable. Maybe you wrote that I was going to tell more of the story, or I was going to smile at you, or I was going to tell a joke even. I don't know. But going crazy, it was probably not on your list of top 5 things. You don't know what I was going to do because you didn't know what I was going to do. That seems silly, but it's true. The only way that you can know the future is to know the future. And only God knows the future. The only way that you can know the future is if God tells you, which is something he did back in those Bible times. He is the only one who knows what will happen after club tonight, what will happen tomorrow, what will happen 100 years from now. You know what probably will happen or what might happen or what you want to happen, but you can't prophesy for sure. We just don't know, but God does. Back in the Old Testament, God sometimes gave messages to people through dreams. That was one of the ways that people were able to prophesy. Now, if we want to know what's going to happen in the future, he still has messages for us, but it's not dreams. It's through the Bible. And sometimes we're reading in the Bible about what people dreamed. And that is God's word. That is God's prophecy. And that's the only way for us to know. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about Joseph. And I have some questions for you. And I'd like you to give your best answer to these questions to whoever is in the room with you. All right, question number 1. How did God talk to Joseph when Joseph was young? Did you say that God gave him dreams and that those dreams came true? Because that's the answer. Number 2, what did Joseph learn from his dreams when he was young? He learned that someday his brothers would bow down to him. Number 3, before his brothers ever bowed down to him, what did his brothers do to him to show that they were jealous and angry? Did you say that they threw him in a pit? Because that's what they did. And then they sold him into slavery. Number 4. Remember, don't just think about the answer. Tell somebody who is near you. Number 4. Why did Joseph end up in prison? The answer is because his master Potiphar's wife tried to get him into trouble, and Joseph said no way and ran away, and his wife was mad at him. So she made up lies and had him thrown into prison. Number 5. What 2 friends did Joseph make while he was in prison? This one is worth 2 points. Okay, it was the cupbearer and the baker. Both people who worked in the palace for the Pharaoh. Number 6. What did Joseph do for those 2 men? Tell your neighbor. He interpreted their dreams. Number 7. What happened after that? Well, the baker's dream was not good, and the baker did not have a good end, but the cupbearer went back to the palace and got his job back. And 2 years after the cupbearer got back, the Pharaoh had a dream. Couldn't figure it out, and the cupbearer told him about Joseph. And Joseph interpreted the Pharaoh's dream. That was a big answer. We'll make that one worth 2 points too. Number 8. What did Pharaoh's dream mean? Remember, there were 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows, 7 fat pieces of grain and 7 skinny pieces of grain. Tell your neighbor. I hope that you said Joseph told him there would be 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. All right. Did you get all 8 of them right? That would be 10 points if you did. If you did, that's fantastic. That shows good listening skills. So thank you for that. Okay. Now, Joseph was in charge from the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh said, come out of prison, be in charge of all of the 7 good years so that you can also be in charge of the 7 bad years. So he was in charge of all the crops in all of Egypt. And as usual, he did a good job. He kept lots of food during those good years to save for the bad years. And then, what do you think happened? Do you think that just like God said, there would be 7 bad years? Yes. The rain stopped falling and the ground withered away. All the crops died, and they did have 7 bad years. The people in Egypt had plenty of food because they knew what was coming and they had saved. But the people in the countries around Egypt didn't have any food. People got very hungry. Sometimes we feel like we're very hungry because maybe we got up too late and had to run out the door before we could have breakfast. Or maybe it's after school and we have not eaten since lunchtime and we're starving. But we're not actually starving. These people were starving. Some of these people did not have food for days and days and days. Joseph's brothers back in Canaan, they ran out of food. Their dad, Jacob, he did not know that Joseph was in Egypt in charge. He just knew that he had heard that there was food in Egypt. So he sent his sons to get some. There were 10 of them. There was actually an 11th son, a little brother, that he didn't send. Well, anyways, these 10 brothers never dreamed that they would show up in Egypt and end up talking to their brother Joseph, the brother that they'd been so unkind to years before. I want to read you a Bible verse. It's Genesis 42:6, and I've got it on my phone here somewhere. Let me look in books, Bible, and I have it ready for you. This is Genesis 42:6. But Jacob did not send Benjamin, Joseph's brother, with the others, because he was afraid that harm might come to him. So that worked out for 2 different reasons. Number 1, it made Joseph's dream come true. Joseph had dreamed that those 10 brothers would be bowing down to him, not the littlest one, and the littlest one stayed home because he did not want harm Jacob did not want harm to come to him. He remembered that his son Joseph had disappeared as a young man, and he did not want the same thing to happen to his baby Benjamin. All right, so anyways, the brothers thought that Joseph was dead. They never imagined that he was going to be the boss of all the food in Egypt. So they got to Egypt, and they saw Joseph, and what do you think they did? They bowed down to him exactly as Joseph had dreamed that they would, just like God said that they would through that dream. God is always right. Say that with me. God is always right. Let's say it one more time. God is always right. Joseph is just one example from the Bible when God told people what would happen in the future. There's lots of other examples. All of these examples are for us to learn that God knows everything and that he is in control and that God is always right. It is so nice to know that we have a smart God who knows everything about everyone all the time. Let's say it one more time. Who is always right? God is always right. He's so smart, he knows everything there is to know. He knows the future of the people back then, and he knows the future for us. He knows whether or not you are a Christian now. He even knows whether or not you will be in the future if you haven't decided yet. Believing that you are a sinner and that Jesus Christ died for your sins is the biggest decision that you could possibly make. And God knows if you've already made it, and he knows if you will make it. He even knows if you're going to make that decision tonight. He knows everything. Believing that you are a sinner and that Jesus Christ died for you and that he came alive again is how you become a Christian. And God wants that for you. He wants you to trust him. Some of us have already trusted Jesus to be our Savior. Some of us have already been forgiven of our sins because we've done that. God says that whoever believes on him will go to heaven. He is predicting the future. He's not guessing. He knows. He said it in his word throughout the ages that whoever believes in Jesus Christ will go to heaven, will be saved. And that is such good news. And God said it, so we know it's true. Why? Because God is always right. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you practice memorizing some sections so that you can say them and get further in your book. Have a great week.